Hello and thank you for joining us. We begin with breaking news tonight. Police have issued a warning about an active shooter in Rosedale. Shots have been fired and people who live in that neighborhood are being warned to shelter in place. Police are surrounding the neighborhoods of Rosedale and neighboring Crescent Heights this evening. At this point, they say nobody has been injured and everyone is being told to stay away from that area until police say it is safe. Stephanie Thomas is at the intersection of 13th Avenue and 4th Street Northwest tonight, where police are staging. Stephanie, police say this is an active threat.
That's right, Tara, as it is an active investigation, an active incident. Safety is the top priority for police. I myself, since I've been standing here, have been hearing multiple pops or things that sound like shots that have been fired. Now, details are limited, but here's what we know right now. Here's a look at the police perimeter. Officers are directing traffic away from the area. Police say a suspect has a firearm and has fired shots into the community and at police. Now, police say they were called in for an active shooter around 3:30 this afternoon at the 500 block of Crescent Road Northwest. So as a precaution, there's an order to shelter in place for nearby residents in Rosedale. Residents are asked to stay in their basements if they are at home to get below ground level. We've seen Hawks helicopter flying above. We've seen drones as well over top of the police perimeter. Now, police, EMS and fire have set up a command center at North Hill Community Curling Club, which is just adjacent to the scene where I'm standing. We've also spoken to a few residents in the area who are kept outside of the police perimeter, and they tell us that they've been hearing pops and bangs this afternoon, but we have no word on who the suspect is or how this incident started. Now, Tara, anyone who cannot get back into their homes in Rosedale is being directed to the Crescent Heights Community High School for further direction. Tara, there's no reports of anyone injured, and we don't have any further word about the suspect in this case, but once again, there is a reminder from police for people to stay away from the area, as this is an active, ongoing investigation with an active shooter.
Okay, Stephanie, thank you. We'll check in with you again in a little while. Welcome back. Let's return to our breaking news in the Northwest tonight. There is an active shooter in Rosedale. Shots have been fired at police and at people who live in that Rosedale area. They are being warned to shelter in place tonight. Police have locked down an area along Crescent Road. Stephanie Thomas joins us now. Stephanie, police say this is an active threat to residents in that area.
Right, Tara. Police maintain that it's still important for residents to stay away or stay inside. And there are some signs that things are ramping up. We're hearing from some viewer tips that police have deployed tear gas, that they've surrounded one home in this Rosedale neighborhood. Now, details are limited, but here's what police have shared. Now, police say that a suspect has a firearm and had earlier this afternoon fired shots into the community and at police. Police say they were called in for an active shooter around 3:30 this afternoon, reported to the 500 block of Crescent Road Northwest. Now, as a precaution, there is an order to shelter in place. Police are redirecting traffic away from the area at around 13th Avenue Northwest. Residents are asked to go into their basements or get below ground level if they are at home. We've also seen Hawks helicopter flying above, and there have been several drones also deployed over the scene. Police, EMS, and fire set up a command center at the nearby North Hill Community Curling Club. Now, we heard from residents and passersby when we set up that they were hearing bangs and pops. I myself heard that sound of what seemed like gunfire earlier this afternoon. But once again, we have no word on how this started or the status of the suspect. We just know that no one has been injured so far, Tara, and that anyone who's not able to go home can go to the Crescent Heights High School to shelter in place and get more direction from there, Tara.
Okay, thank you for that information. We'll check in with you again in a bit, Stephanie. Let's return to our breaking news now in Northwest Calgary. Police are still dealing with an active shooter in Rosedale, and a shelter-in-place order remains in effect. Stephanie Thomas is nearby but safely away from the action tonight. Stephanie, neighbors continue to stay in their homes, and they are very concerned about this.
Tara, as you mentioned, there still is the shelter-in-place order from Calgary Police, and we are here at the edge of the police perimeter with police permission to make sure that we're keeping a safe distance ourselves, but it's still very much an active scene. We're hearing the Hawks helicopter circling above overhead. Now, there's no word from police about how this started, but here are the details that we do know, that police are looking into a report of a suspect with a firearm who fired shots into the community and also at police. Now, police say they got the call call around 3:30 this afternoon to the 500 block of Crescent Road Northwest. So as a precaution, that's why they initiated the order for residents to stay in their homes. We've got police redirecting traffic so that people who don't live in the area do not come into danger's way. Residents who are within the containment scene are being asked to go down below ground level or stay in their basements. We've got police, fire, EMS, and the tactical unit all set up near the North Hill Community Curling Club. We spoke to some residents who didn't want to go on camera, but they tell us that they heard some pops and bangs and what sounded like gunshots. Now, one man who lives nearby says he first heard about the shelter in place and the unfolding active shooter situation through text messages from friends. Now, a reminder, he is sheltering in place. He says he has praise for the police response and how they contained the scene and set up roadblocks. And he says he's never seen a violent incident like this in this neighborhood and says it's unnerving.
It's not the type of neighborhood where you would ever get to witness something like that. But when it happens, you know, you're fearful because it becomes very, very, you know, scary and invasive for people that, you know, haven't done this before, aren't used to it. We all have kids.
Tara, there's no reports of anyone being injured, but we also do not have an update on the suspect right now. This very much is an active investigation. Wanted to update the public as well about a brief lockdown at Crescent Heights High School. Students there were told to go into the gym, but as soon as it was cleared for safety by police, those students and staff were free to go and no one there is affected. But a reminder to residents of Rosedale right now that there is a police shelter-in-place order as this active investigation is ongoing. Tara.
Okay, Stephanie Thomas reporting. Stephanie, thank you for all of that this evening. And of course, we'll keep watching this tonight and have updates on our website.